Here is the list of every actor who's played multiple roles in the MCU up to this point. Most actors who have appeared in the MCU have been confined to one single character, but there have been a handful of exceptions over the years. Some actors have only portrayed minor characters in both instances, but others have had surprisingly large roles for all of the characters they've portrayed. In many mediums of entertainment, it's not uncommon for an actor to play multiple characters beyond the primary character they've been cast to play. Animated projects, for example, often have voice actors voice multiple characters at the same time, although they'll often use different voices for each character they voice. Steve Blum voicing multiple major and minor characters in Star Wars Rebels is a prime example of this. Live-action media is no stranger to that either, as actors will often be cast in multiple roles either for a story reason, whether serious or comedic, or it will be a coincidence of someone who originally played a minor role succeeding in auditioning for a bigger part. The MCU has been no stranger to actors playing multiple roles, and this is a list of every actor who's done that. It should be noted that this list is focused solely on actors who have played explicitly different characters, so people who have only played variants of the same character in Phase 4 won't be counted. Also, this list will only discuss MCU projects that have at least had some promotional media released, so while Mahershala Ali has been cast as Blade in Marvel's Blade, after playing Cottonmouth in Marvel's Luke Cage, since nothing of Blade has been released to the public, Ali won't receive his own section at this time. Alfre Woodard. One of the more notable entries on this list is Alfre Woodard. Woodard played Mariah Dillard in Luke Cage, but she also had a small part in Captain America: Civil War as Miriam Sharp, the woman who guilted Tony Stark into supporting the Sokovia Accords. Woodard's dual roles are notable for being one of the earliest examples of an actor playing multiple characters in the MCU, which, in turn, also helped to kickstart many of the problems the MCU has had with lining up the continuities of the movies and the TV shows prior to Phase 4. Benedict Cumberbatch is an example of an actor who's been cast in different roles, with Cumberbatch playing them in the same movie. Naturally, Cumberbatch has played Doctor Strange since 2016, but he also voiced Doctor Strange's Dormammu, the main villain of the film. Cumberbatch also provided the motion capture for Dormammu, and both were done at his request to help Dormammu come across as an evil reflection of Strange, via Ein. Clancy Brown has a long history of both voice acting and live-action performances, and both have been on display in the MCU. For voice acting, Brown voiced Surtur in Thor: Ragnarok, a character who was instrumental in bringing about Ragnarok and destroying Asgard. For live action, Brown appeared in Daredevil and The Punisher as Colonel Ray Schoonover a.k.a. the Blacksmith, one of the leaders of Operation Cerberus, a covert military operation designed to eliminate targets in Afghanistan that was funded by smuggling heroin through corpses. Damien Poitier has also portrayed multiple characters in the MCU, although both of his roles ended up being rather minor. Poitier played Thanos briefly in Marvel's The Avengers as part of the after-credits teaser, before Josh Brolin was cast in the role, which is why his appearance changed from Guardians of the Galaxy onward. Poitier also had a small part as one of Crossbone's henchmen in the fight in Lagos in Captain America: Civil War. Enver Jokic is a prime example of an actor getting a larger part in a story after originally being cast in a minor role. Jokic's first appearance in the MCU was in The Avengers as Officer Saunders, one of the police officers who assisted in the Battle of New York under Captain America's instructions. Jokic would later be cast as Daniel Souza in Agent Carter, a role which he would later reprise in the final season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. At one point, there were plans for Saunders and Souza to be revealed as the same person thanks to time travel, but the idea was scrapped because of how it conflicted with the timeline of the MCU via AV Club. Gemma Chan is one of the more recent actors to portray multiple characters in the MCU, and both of her characters have had varying degrees of importance in the MCU. Chan first appeared in Captain Marvel as Minnesota Irva, a member of the elite Kree Task Force, Star Force, and one of the antagonists of the movie. More recently, Chan appeared in Eternals as its protagonist, Cersei, a role that she's more than likely to reprise in future MCU projects. Imogen and Isabella Poynton are twin actors with a history of sharing roles, and they've done that twice in the MCU. The Poynton sisters first appeared briefly in Guardians of the Galaxy as Durana, the daughter of Nova Corps agent Raman Day. The two of them also played Lila Barton in Avengers: Age of Ultron, but they were replaced by Ava Russo for Avengers: Endgame and Hawkeye. Joe Russo. While the Russo brothers are best known for their directorial contributions to the MCU, Joe Russo has played a few minor characters in the MCU. Russo played Dr. Fine, the doctor who operated on Nick Fury in Captain America: The Winter Soldier, and he also played Theo Broussard, the psychiatrist Helmut Zemo killed and impersonated in Captain America: Civil War. Russo's last role in the MCU was in Marvel's Avengers: Endgame as Bobby, the member of Steve's support group who opened up about his troubles with dating after losing his lover in the blip. Kenneth Choi. Unlike other entries on this list, Kenneth Choi has an in-universe reason for playing multiple characters in the MCU. Choi first appeared in Captain America: The First Avenger as Private Jim Morita of the Howling Commandos, a role he later reprised for Agent Carter. Later, Choi appeared as Principal Morita in Spider-Man: Homecoming, but his casting was intentional as Principal Morita is supposed to be Jim Morita's grandson. Laura Haddock was first cast in a very minor role in the MCU as a woman wanting Captain America's autograph in Captain America: The First Avenger. Later, however, she would have a recurring role as Peter Quill's mother, Meredith, in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Director James Gunn joked that Haddock's character in The First Avenger is Meredith's mother, but there isn't a genuine connection between the two characters. Matt Gerald has also portrayed different characters in the MCU, although none have been major roles. Gerald appeared in the short film All Hail the King as White Power Dave, a Seagate prison inmate who briefly gets into a fight with Trevor Slattery. Gerald had a larger role in Daredevil as Melvin Potter, a mentally impaired designer who made Matt Murdock's signature suit and billy clubs. Michelle Yeoh is another example of an actor landing a major role after originally just having a minor part in the MCU. Yeoh first had a cameo in Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 2 as Aletta Ogord, one of the Ravager captains who agreed to reassemble the original team of Ravagers after Yondu's death. Yeoh would later have a larger role in Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings as Ying Nan, Shang-Chi's aunt and one of the Guardians of Ta Lo. Patrick Brennan is another actor whose roles in the MCU have been largely minor. Brennan first appeared in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as Blackout, a supervillain with the power to control the Darkforce who obsessively stalked Phil Coulson's ex-girlfriend Audrey Nathan. Later, Brennan had a small role in Captain Marvel as the bartender at the bar Carol Danvers and Nick Fury went to. Patton Oswalt is likely the actor on this list with the most involvement with the MCU's TV shows. Oswalt played the Konings throughout the entirety of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., with it even being a running gag that they all look exactly alike. More recently, however, Oswalt became involved with the movies by portraying Pip the Troll in the post-credits scene of Eternals. Paul Bettany's dual roles are some of the more obvious ones in the MCU. Bettany originally voiced Tony Stark's AI assistant Jarvis, and following Avengers: Age of Ultron, Bettany has appeared in the MCU in person as Vision. Vision was killed by Thanos in Avengers: Infinity War, but with the creation of White Vision in WandaVision, Bettany will likely reprise his role at a later point in the MCU. Peter Mensah is an actor who started out with a minor role in the movies before having a slightly larger role on TV. Mensah first appeared in the MCU in the fairly minor role of General Joe Greller in The Incredible Hulk. Later, he returned to the MCU in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as Kovas, one of the leaders of the Confederacy who was trying to seize Gravitonium and Inhumans in exchange for protecting Earth from Thanos. Seth Green is an actor who has been highly prolific in pop culture, and the MCU has been no different. Green first appeared in the MCU in Iron Man 2, where he had a cameo as a fan at the Stark Expo, but he more notably voiced Howard the Duck in the post-credits scene of Guardians of the Galaxy. Green would later reprise his role as Howard the Duck for 2 episodes of What If? Tim Guinee has also had a couple of minor appearances in the MCU. Guinee first appeared in Iron Man as Major Allen of the Air Force, a role he later reprised in Iron Man 2. Guinee would later appear in The Punisher as Clay Wilson, father to minor antagonist Lewis Wilson. Tony Curran has also portrayed multiple characters in the MCU, if only minor ones. Curran first appeared in the prologue of Thor: The Dark World as Bor, Odin's father who defeated Malekith and his army of Dark Elves 5,000 years ago. Later, Curran would appear in Daredevil as Finn Cooley, a high-ranking member of Kitchen Irish who was killed by John Bernthal's Punisher. Chin is the last MCU actor to have played multiple characters. Chin first appeared in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as Leanne May, a retired intelligence agent and Melinda May's mother. More recently, she had a small part in Shang-Chi and The Legend of the Ten Rings, where she played Katie's grandmother Waipo Chen. Key release dates: Black Panther, Wakanda Forever release date, 2022 11/11 Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania release date, 2023 02/17 Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 3 release date, 2023 05/05 The Marvels Captain Marvel 2 release date, 2023 07/28 Blade 2023 release date, 2023 11/03 Captain America, New World Order release date, 2024 05/03 Marvel's Thunderbolts release date, 2024 07/26 Marvel's Fantastic Four release date, 2024 11/08 Avengers: The Kang Dynasty release date, 2025 05/02 Avengers: Secret Wars release date, 2025